So Megan Fox didn't just get casted, but it just got announced that she was casted as Nitara in MK1. And I know that a lot of people are going to be split about this decision. I know why they did this. There's been a trend of them including like not necessarily celebrities, but actors, sometimes celebrities, as certain roles in games. It started in Injustice 2 um, when they casted I'm blanking on his name right now, but the guy who played uh, Robert Englund. Robert Englund. They casted him as Scarecrow in Injustice 2, and that was a great pick. That was a very intelligent pick. Um, and then from there, it just kind of MK11. It was Ronda Rousey as Sonya Blade, which was fucking terrible. It was literally the opposite effect as what they did in Injustice 2. And now Nitara, Megan Fox as Nitara. Now this is going to shock a lot of people, but I like this. I like this choice. Could it have been better than a regular voice actor? At this point, I honestly think so. I think so because a lot of the characters in this game seem like they're lacking severely in personality. The only characters that I've seen that have had any intriguing personality has been Johnny Cage, Kung Lao, and Shao Kahn. And like I really like what they're doing with Kung Lao's dialogue, but that's besides the point. Now there are a few issues that come along with casting a celebrity like this as a voice actor. Number one, the most obvious one, it's going to be extremely difficult to get them in the studio when DLC characters drop. It's going to be very hard to. This has occurred a lot of the time. This has happened with like the strikes that a lot of voice actors have gone on. That they were unable to complete intro dialogue, so they would have to just use whatever they could, and it would most of the time it wouldn't make a lot of sense at all. So they would just basically need to scrap and just duct tape together what they could. So that's the most blatant, obvious fact. Another thing is, what are her voice acting capabilities? Now, a lot of actors voice act in media, and this was something that I discovered, a few years back, that quite a few actors have voice acting, and they do a great job, and that's because obviously they can act, and you have to act to some degree in order to portray any sort of emotion and severity of a situation through a character. Megan Fox isn't known for her incredible acting roles, her incredible acting in any of her roles. She's known for her looks and her relationship with MGK at this moment. When I was growing up, it was different. It was Transformers, but we live in a different world now. So is she going to be able to do that? So far, I mean, like, I'm not going to say that she seems super emotional, but she was engaged enough to where it wasn't like the Dimitri skin for Sub-Zero and MK11, which is good. I mean, that's not his first language, and everybody was extremely harsh on him, which I don't know. I don't find it as big of a deal as everybody else did. But she seemed fine. I mean, it kind of fit the character. You know what I mean? Like, obviously they're retconning the characters, so nothing's consistent anymore. But from like what I like for a vampire, I think that it fits really well. I think it's really sly, sleek, and just I wouldn't say prissy, but something along those lines. So I think it was good. Also, she's hot. So I mean, shit. Of the female characters in the game, none of them have been hot. Like, they're average at best. None of them, but she's hot as fuck in real life. So it's, I'm perfectly fine with her. Because the face, she's doing everything. Like, she has the facial resemblance of Megan Fox. She's doing the voice too, which is surprising to me. But it's cheaper that way. But she's actually doing it. So overall, I think it's a good pick. I don't think that it's going to be, besides your like future endeavors when it comes to DLC, I think that it's going to be a good decision. I think that a lot of people are going to be pleased with it overall. Now, second of all, we need to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is who the last roster character is on the roster. A lot of people are theorizing about who it is. It's Noob. And the reason why I know it's Noob is because I've looked at the story leaks, and Noob is mentioned in the story. And it's the okay, so it's Hanzo Hasashi. But Hanzo Hasashi is not the Scorpion in this game. Scorpion is somebody else. Hanzo Hasashi was the leader, the Grandmaster of the Lin Kuei. And he was slain by Bihan, Sub-Zero, and it's revealed that he's in the story. So that's obvious to me that he's going to be the last character, and it's going to be such a big reveal that he's not on the base roster and he's going to be unlockable probably through the story. If not the story, then the crypt. I forgot there is no crypt. It's invasions mode, so probably not through invasions mode. It's probably through the story. Certain characters look like they are actually only unlockable through the story, which is something that I can appreciate. Which means I'll unlock at day one because I'm going to be playing the story day one. That's what intrigues me the most right now. Overall, I mean, obviously core gameplay intrigues me the most, but I want a good story in the game. And so far, I mean, they have a lot of potential to head in whatever direction they want to. It's just they need to keep their retcons in mind. No, not retcons. They need to keep their story in mind and not retcon anything. Because that's when they falter, is when they decide that they need to add pointless retcons to whatever story elements for no reason. There's no reason, there's no basis behind it. Why add it? Because we think that we can do it better than what Midway did. Okay, well, you don't know what you're doing anymore. You literally don't know. That's why you needed to retcon the series, because you said it was quote-unquote messy. Funny. That's funny. Anyways, this is not a negative video about NetherRealm, though. This is, overall, I think this is a good pick. It makes sense why they, because I was wondering, why are they waiting so long to reveal Nitara, and now it makes sense to me. She is a celebrity casted character, and, you know, like I said, I think it's a good pick overall. I don't see, like, there are going to be future issues, like I said, but overall, for right now, I think it's going to be cool. Plus, I like having a hot female character in the game, which is, like, ironically, shockingly, a breath of fresh air for this series, because none of the characters are sexualized at all, male or female. You know, none of them are showing any skin at all, basically. From a game that was so aggressive like MK9 to something like this, like it's almost unrecognizable. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna say it again. The character designs, like, this is going to be my closing thought, but I just need to bring this up again. My biggest issue with the game is the character designs. It's the designs overall, and like the stage designs too. Like the stages in this game, I don't know why they're all so pretty. And you might be saying to yourself, how is that an issue? Because they're all pretty. Like the vast majority of stages that I've seen in this game have been scenery, like nature, forest scenery, which is fine. Like, it's okay if, like, the Shirairu Temple and MK11, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful ass stage, one of the prettiest stages that another NetherRealm game has ever had, or an MK has ever had, and that was cool. But here's the issue: every single stage is pretty this time around. And for a game like, for a series like Mortal Kombat, you need to have more gnarly looking stages. I feel it's cool to have pretty stages, you know, but there's not really any gnarly looking stages besides the Living Forest, and that's not really, I wouldn't classify that as gnarly. I would just classify that as like a callback to something. And then the Flesh Pits. The Flesh Pits looks really fucking cool. There was also the stage that Havoc was in. It didn't look gnarly, but it was a cool aesthetic, so I'll let that pass. The stages aren't bad by any means, but I feel like they need to have more character to them than just, ooh, this stage is pretty as shit. Okay, that's cool. I like pretty stages. I like nature. I like nature a lot, but this is Mortal Kombat we're talking about. And along with Mortal Kombat, the character designs are... I feel like Mortal Kombat has always had such distinct and creative character designs, and in this game it's just lacking severely. That's my opinion about it. I I don't hear anybody. I've heard a couple people talk about it, but it seems like overall nobody has a grievance with it. Like MK9, we had one of the most bland. I mean, MK11, we had one of the most bland Sub-Zero designs. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't. Wasn't stand out. It didn't stand out at all, and that's an issue for me. I don't really. And then now, like the ninja designs in this game are so plain, and a lot of people were like, well, they were plain back in the day too. They had an excuse for it back in the day. Not to mention the fact they did stand out. Like the colors were vibrant, the designs were what they needed to be. They were kind of. I mean, they were simple, but it was a good design. These designs are not good. They're just simple. That's all that there is to them. They're just simple, and I mean. You need to have more in an MK game. Some of the designs aren't bad. I'm not going to say every design is bad, but I feel like some of the more obvious designs for some of the more obvious characters that should be designed better are like it should be easily designed, like are not. And this is the ninjas. This is Melina. This is Katana. This is Tanya. This is Ashra. Reptile is good. Reptile's design is good, and that's because he's completely humanoid. Like, well, not completely, but you know what I mean. He's humanoid, mostly humanoid, and that's cool. Like, I can appreciate that. His design has been one of the better ones. And Havoc's obviously has been pretty good. Kung Lao's is simple and it is what it needs to be, but Raiden is almost undistinguishable from Kung Lao. Kung Lao has always had a simpler design. Liu Kang's is basically the same from the ending of MK11, but it's less vibrant. It's more casual, I feel like, and that's kind of what most of these designs I feel like it's a casual ass design, and this is Mortal Kombat. You know, like I need to reiterate that because this is a series known for its flashiness. You know. The ESRB, this, you know, like I feel like we're heading in the opposite direction of what the series has implemented from the start. You need to address this issue. This is my number one issue with the game right now. I don't give a fuck that I saw Chronica in the story. I know that that's Damashi anyways. I'm not going to say spoiler alerts because anything's subject to change, but that's a really good fucking idea if they went with that, because that would trick the audience too. But I'm just having an issue with these. I'm having an issue with these designs, and I'm having a big issue with them. And I know what people are going to say. Oh, there's going to be skins. There's going to be different costumes in the game. But the base representation of these characters. Base costume of these characters is always a representation of the quality that they're going to be. Like, if you look at the quality of Sub-Zero's design in MK11, it was okay. And that was all of his costumes. They were just okay. Scorpion's was okay. And I don't know. I just feel like this needs to change. Like, and I hate how people are... They're so complacent with just taking a different costume, that doesn't excuse a bad design or a boring design. It never has, and it never should. For me, it never has. And if MK1 is anything like MK11 when it comes to the alternative costumes, then they're not going to be the most obvious picks, because for some reason NetherRealm doesn't like doing that. But anyways, that was my rant about everything. I said it was going to be a negative video, and it ended up being sort of negative there at the end. I apologize for that, but I just can't stop myself certain times. The game's coming out very soon. I'll be able to play it because I got early access to the game, because premium addition to a game. Easily worth it. 5 days earlier than usual. That's fucking crazy. It's unfair for everybody else because the game is out. The game is completely fucking out. Like, I understand that I paid $110 for a game, and that's awesome, but Jesus, like, this should have been available on September 14th for everybody, this, like, yeah, I'm glad I get to play it early, but it shouldn't be early. That should be base time. That should be base release day. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm ecstatic for it, actually. I just want it to come out. But overall, that's all I have to say about that, and I'm going to let the Overwatch footage roll.